Today, we live in a world that revolves around technology. Specifically with communication, technology has really shaped the way we live our lives. Take a second to think about the ways that you use technology. Today, we have cell phones, iPods, iPads, the iPad mini, laptops, smartphones that we all use all the time to communicate. These devices have really become ingrained into our lifestyles, yet as recently as 20 or so years ago, none of these devices existed. The technology they run on was in its infancy, yet here we are today in a society where technology is completely integrated into our lifestyles. Now you might be thinking, okay, but technology's always been advancing. What makes now any different? Well, when compared with history, the changes we've seen during the digital revolution have occurred very, very quickly. Take, for example, the phone. It took over 30 years for phone technology to advance from the rotary phone to the push-button phone. In that same 30-year span during the digital revolution, we saw much larger leaps in technology. We went from the first PC to the MacBook. We went from the first CD player to the iPod Touch. And we went from the first mobile phone to smartphones. All these changes occurred very quickly and resulted in two main effects on society. The first is that we now live in a world that favors constant connectivity. With technology as advanced as it is, we can link to the world from almost any location, and as a result, communication has become much more electronic. Now with this, society is having to deal with a new paradox. That is to say that although these changes in technology were driven by a desire to improve communication, it is because of these changes that communication has in many ways diminished. Take, for example, Facebook. Facebook has created this world in which we can communicate with each other and interact with each other through one-sentence posts and little blurbs of a conversation in the chat box. These sites like this make communication easier, but they undervalue quality conversation. Try to think of the last time you had a deep conversation with someone on the internet. And the same goes for texting, really. These devices are unable to convey emotion. They can't express feelings. This is as close as you'll get to an emotional connection through a text message. Technology takes the human element out of communicating by replacing the person you're talking to with a screen. And in a world where technology is beginning to overwhelm our communication, we're beginning to become accustomed to this lower quality conversation. Society is beginning to favor the quantity of friendships over the quality, and living in this type of environment has the ability to change our perception of what true friendship is and should be. Now the second effect that technology has had is it's transformed us into a community of multitaskers. With technology that's so portable, we've become extremely good at walking, talking, texting, tweeting all at the same time. Now, what effect has this had on interaction with each other? Well, take a look outside. When you walk down the street, what are people doing? More and more, they're sitting on their laptops, they're texting, they're listening to their iPods, completely disconnected from the world around them. These same devices that were designed to bring us together are really isolating us. They allow us to live in this virtual reality where we can totally disregard the real world and the real people around us. And as a result, the value of human connection is beginning to be lost. So as we head into the future, I just suggest that you try to think of three things. One is to respect technology because it's an extremely powerful tool and it has the ability to shape our lives. So we have to treat it as something that has that kind of power. Two is to reflect. Take a second to step back every once in a while and look at your life. Look at the way you're using technology and how it's affecting your interactions with people. And ask yourself, do I like this picture? And third is to make a conscious effort to reach out to people. Is every once in a while put down the cell phone and the iPod, and most importantly, just never forget the value of true human connection.